Good day to everyone. I'm Anand and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. On behalf of Beroe, I would like to welcome you all for the webinar on Evolution on Market Research Procurement, Unbundling Data Analytics that would give the audience a ringside view on various approaches that can be implemented to unbundle data and analytics in order to usher in cost savings. In today's webinar, we will have Veerappan discuss on how the increasing shift in analytics, changes in research approach, and availability of alternate supply segments could become an opportunity to achieve cost reductions in market research procurement across industries. Before we move ahead with the presentation, I have some general set of instructions for the attendees. Please note that all attendees will be placed on mute. During the course of presentation, if you would like to post questions, you will find a box on the right-hand side indicated in red. Request you to type your questions and hit the send button. As and when the presentation progresses, I will note down the high-frequency questions and will pose it to the presenter at the end of the session. If you are experiencing any connection issues, kindly request you to close the window, go back to the email and try to connect using the same link. For any further problems, request you to please email Puneet at puneet.ramal@beroe-inc.com, which you can also find in the email. Moving on, let me quickly introduce the speaker for today, Veerappan. Veerappan handles the market research category at Beroe Inc. and holds an MBA degree from Cardiff University, UK. In his 2 years at Beroe, Veerappan has built extensive knowledge and expertise applied towards end-use markets such as consumer products, pharmaceuticals, financial services, and telecom. He has written several thought leadership papers touching upon impact of emerging research techniques and media on innovation in market research and inflation rates applied on market research studies. Without any further delay, let me now hand over the presentation to Veerappan. Veerappan, over to you.
Thanks, Anand. Hope you all are having a great day. Here we begin. Market research is one of the most important and a high-spend category among all marketing services procurement across industries. In the next 40 minutes, we will see how market research industry is positioned from procurement's perspective. What are the upcoming trends and how do they impact the sourcing decision? We will discuss about the cost-saving mandates and the challenges put in front in achieving them. This webinar captures how the trend of increase in analytics, availability of alternate supply segments, and opportunity for creating sourcing synergies can help in framing monetary benefits. To begin with, I will discuss the current supply market landscape for market research services, how and what are the difficulties to save on cost. I will then talk about the upcoming trends and how buyers' preferences have changed in terms of research type, research method, and data collection methodologies. The impact these preferences can have on sourcing decisions and what could potentially be the cost-saving opportunities that buyers can opt for. Post that, opportunities to unbundle data and analytics from traditional market research vendors in order to drive innovation and cost effectiveness. It is what I will focus on. Further down, I will analyze the possibilities of engaging with data brokerage firms for a specific set of data in matured markets and how well it could help companies in gaining cost advantage. And at last, we will see how this strategy can be implemented based on market research requirements and the needs of different industries, highlighting where to begin and how to proceed. Across all marketing categories, including market research, the key focus of category managers in consumer goods and pharmaceutical companies continues to be the cost savings and innovations. Market research as a category has not yielded sufficient cost-saving opportunities for buyers till now. Let's begin this journey by looking at what makes cost-saving and sourcing market research services an arduous task for buyers across industries. Consolidation in supply market has been one significant cause for the challenges around the current procurement. 51% of total market share has been contributed by 7 major market research agencies, where others hold 49% of which most of revenues comes only from the smaller buyers. These major companies also try to augment the consolidation by joint operations. For an instance, National Consumer Panel is formed by Nielsen and Information Resources as a collaborative measure. By recruiting, incenting, and equipping a representative sample of US consumers, the panel provides the highest quality, actionable consumer data to support the needs of both IRI and Nielsen. This consumer data is the raw material that powers the insights and solutions that IRI and Nielsen individually deliver to their respective clients. Another example, Europanel, shows the same reason that GfK and Ipsos put it forward. The point is, top 7 players are focusing on consolidating the market in order to ensure a stiff barrier to other market players. This also poses challenges to buyers while they are making their sourcing strategies. It is hence 65% of business accounts are handled by other than top 7 companies, while nearly 80% of market research spend of Fortune 500 companies lands up with top 10 market research companies globally. While this is what service providers are focusing on, what is it that buyers are thinking while sourcing market research? Typically, major buyers go for long-term contracts, bundle geographies, brands, or therapeutic requirements to few preferred vendors to avail benefits. This process has been further boosted by inclusion of KPIs like quick payment discounts and rebates. On the other hand, service providers welcome long-term contracts. However, they would sign a global contract only for data subscription and would prefer regional execution with clauses addressing local market differences in pricing for insights. Another thing to look at is the way discounts are offered in this category. While buyers demand a discount on cost, market research agencies are ready to supply more but not offer any discount on cost. For instance, if the service provider has asked for USD for a set of 10 data fields, the buyer will ask him for 10% discount on cost. The supplier will, however, refuse to offer any cost discount but will agree to provide 10 plus 2 extra data fields for the same USD. Given the scenario, as of today, 75% of major contracts signed only with database discounts, and global contracts are signed only for data subscriptions. Market research continues to be a category where cost savings are still governed by tactical avenues like controlling the backroom cost, engaging with the preferred airline or hotel vendor, which yields very little sustainable success. How are the buyers responding to the market? The buyers started realizing the reduction in dependency on market research agencies would put them in a better position. This has been evident by how they drive the market research industry as such. Market research industry as a whole is moving to new dimensions, and this increase in shift is being evident if we look at the growth rate of new categories or new business segments, which adds over $20 billion to research-related avenues, which includes social media analytics, online analytics, web traffic measurement, and auto surveys. Desk search and secondary analysis have gained share in 2013 and grew 5% to 11% in total research spend by data collection method. Whereas face-to-face interviews and group discussions fell 3% and 3% respectively, while online and automated digital electronic research has gained 3% and 4% respectively. Buyers are driving the shift and investing significant proportions of their market research budget with supplies of data, information, and analysis that are not part of traditional market research. In a world of increasing transparency, clients want not only the right partners but partnership with the integrity in understanding while consumer buying process. When the supply market is undergoing such huge changes in operational preferences, there should be an opportunity for buyers to capitalize the moment. Would rise in analytics become an opportunity for avail direct or indirect cost benefits? Probably yes. Need for analytics has exponentially increased over a period of time. The three major reasons leading buyers to opt for analytics are data aid to personalized digital campaigns, the need for real-time consumer insights, and the speed to market. For pharmaceutical companies, master data management has become an important concern. Pharma companies, unlike other industries, have multiple data points owing to their complexities in distribution in highly regulated marketing channels. The need for linking up data into a well-defined linear path demands huge investments, and ability of vendor to assist are likely to be a significant decider in future contracts. The need for better campaign management to check on particular campaigns that works well in one segment and fail completely in another. Customer segmentation provides better insight. Predictive analytics is used for campaign optimization. It helps in identify the best customers for campaign with specific goal. This approach saves most of the budget or leads to a better result with the same budget. On the other hand, the need for customized real-time insights and incremental personalized digital campaigns have put consumer goods sectors increase their demand in analytics to bring up an unified and holistic view of consumer data. Buyers would like to have information about people right at the time of a purchase to setting up highly customized digital advertisements and loyalty programs. Big data is really a synonym for analytics. There's no point in having loads and loads of data if you don't do something with it, and that requires dedicated data architecture, and setting it up requires huge investment. It is undeniable that most of the businesses need to get better at integrating and utilizing the ever-increasing range of data available, and to exploit the latest technology and analytical insights and value. There comes boutique analytical agencies. Benefits of looking at groups and demographics are no longer prevailed in most cases with consumer goods and banking financial sectors. While they see individual information has more to offer in terms of setting up more personalized marketing campaigns. While the analytics as a service contributes 18% to a total in 2014, the analytics share in market research agencies' revenue stands out only to 10%, which indirectly tells us there are alternative supply segment and it is growing big. Currently, analytics spend has been consolidated with market research agencies in most cases, where the ability of integrating and utilizing the ever-increasing range of data have undoubtedly put boutique or specialist analytical companies in better position to serve the purpose. The increased demand of analytics in traditional research method is high in market measurement services, which includes sales and transaction data as well as consumer panel and trade panel data, brand tracking studies, and consumer attitude and buyer behavioral studies, which is currently being contracted to market research agencies by most of the companies. Demand for analytics prevails in most of the services under broader umbrella of business intelligence and information industry, while allied research segment has huge increase in requirements which all route to one service, consumer insights. Sentimental analytics to find out the user sentiments on brands, products through social platforms, Text analytics is majorly used to find out the dynamic behind the reviews and ratings. These service segments are not the core capabilities of market research agencies, and currently most of the Tier 2 buyers opt boutique agencies to cater the requirements. Innovation and precision in technology front has made specialist analytical companies to gain maximum spend in these categories. Market research agencies' revenue in analytics has gained 4.5% from 2013 to 14, while boutique agencies post huge increase of 13% in same period. It demonstrates the change in preferences in types of supplier for analytical service alone. Analytical companies' robust growth and contract wins are driven by strong analytical capability and partnership with IT companies and data vendors to facilitate the global contract and accommodate the huge amount of raw data. Most importantly, they are approximately 5% lesser than that of a market research agencies in cost, considering the contract under $5 million US and nearly 8% lesser for bigger contracts. Thanks to salary cost, which is one of the dominant factor driving market research agencies, but not in analytics, as technology takes much of the share in analytics. Hence, unbundling analytics has potential to make 5 to 8% cost savings in analytics budget, which itself accounts to 18% of total market research spend. Hence, there is an opportunity to save 2 to 3% of overall market research spend. Are there any cost saving opportunities for data purchases, the other big subcategory of market research? Probably yes. Can data brokerage firms be used as a substitute or supplementary or complementary to traditional market research companies for data and brand insights? Yes, in most cases. One of the recent breakthroughs which have potential to be trendsetter is the emergence of data vendors like Axiom, Merkle, and Epsilon. These vendors, along with dedicated analytical firms like MuSigma, Latent View Analytics, have potentially to offset market research vendors. Several buyers are looking at the prospect to gain better and more focused insights about target groups and reducing spend on understanding these groups by engaging with these data brokerage firms and analytical vendors. Data brokerage firms have made a significant investments in analytical capabilities compared to market research firms, which have strong statistical analytic capabilities. Data brokerage firms like Axiom have made a big data investments via data sets and able to connect the dots through predictive analytics. Ability of providing data from multiple sources will give more sophisticated 360-degree broader view of consumer behavior. Considering the current market dynamics of data providers is in a nascent stage and high competition among them have led to relatively low pricing compared to market research agencies. Data purchases are approximately 20 to 25% lesser than that of a traditional market research agencies, thanks to the salary cost and negligible existence of premium cost. In-depth granular information at household level for various data sets would give right picture to map where the customer is and facilitate brand mapping, which indeed a major support for customized marketing and loyalty programs. However, data vendors could be effective only in types of data which has been collected directly from a customer node. Electronic point of sale is a major point of data collection, holds good only for sales data, when and where the purchase has happened, transaction data, which includes how the purchase has been made. It also can provide details on contact information and cost surveys. Establishment of data brokerage firms and competency are good only in mature markets such as North America and Europe. Considering salary cost head alone, data vendors are 6 to 7% cheaper than that of market research agencies for above said data types. How? Let's see in the next slide. Here we see the indicative pricing structure of both data brokerage firms and market research agencies. Though innovation and precision are among the major considerations for supplier selection, the cost continues to be single biggest determinant in sourcing decisions. Salary cost is the critical cost component of market research companies and are subject to rise annually, which directly hit the ground research cost. Whereas most of the analytical companies and data providers who relies on technology that wouldn't rise year by year. Inflation rates applied on market research studies on pre-existing contracts is one of the important cost driver which escalates market research prices annually. Thus, the ability of suppliers to check price escalation in annual contracts is seen as a major clincher in contract wins. In an average, annual contract of market research services increase by 3 to 5% in matured market, while few markets such as Venezuela, Ukraine and Pakistan post close to massive 40+% due to currency devaluation, war premium and government instability in market. The impact of these factors on data brokers are not as heavy as on the market research agencies' cost structure. Using KPIs such as continual cost improvement helps buyers to negotiate and bring the cost down when in the engagement of data brokerage firms. CCI can be applied only on the existing technology, and any change in technology or introduction of new technology would come with a premium cost on top of the prices. The other factors that currently being considered while signing contracts are compliances to regulations and data availabilities. Data brokers' approach of data collection include both with and without the knowledge of consumers, which is subject to many regulations globally. Buyers would like to have a partnership of integrity in compliances with prevailing regulations. In last decade, it was one of the main reasons why buyers opt consolidation of data purchases with market research for all needs. However, major data brokers have started responding to regulations by providing clarity to consumers that what data of them they hold and how it is being used. Axiom released a website called aboutthedata.com which helps consumers to track the data collected about them by Axiom. This website is a major step towards ensuring transparency for consumers and indirectly opens up the competition between market research agencies and data brokerage firms. Market research agencies had a strong hold on the access of certain informations. For instance, IMS has a contract with the Pharma Benefit Management Company eScript in US for accessing certain claims processing data, which is being not allowed for other companies to get accesses. However, these barriers have started to fade in many markets. For an illustration, UK government has decided to share National Health Scheme NHS pharmacy and prescription data in a particular section where many research companies and data vendors have access. Regulations around data privacy have been one of the key factors of scrutiny for data brokerage firms, which they have started addressing it. Leading service provider Merkle has started using unique code in place of respondent identities so that the privacy concerns are duly addressed. Hence, now the differences between suppliers are all down to insights and value-added services done on top of the data. It indirectly hit market research agencies more than data brokerage firms as their premium cost applied over the data purchases are being questioned. Market research engagements are majorly based on amount of data and insights required and their business frequencies. Market research firms are contract winners so far, both in the terms of contracts as well as spend. 60% of market research requirement in terms of number of projects demands only less actionable insights and are with high business frequency. It contributes 30% to the total market research revenue. Current engagement with data brokers holds good for data requirements of high frequency and fewer insights, while following the current practices of engaging with market research agencies for the rest. Though engagement with market data brokerage firms is feasible only for the matured markets, it holds significance since most of the demand for data analytics for the clients is generated from matured markets such as North America and Europe, which together accounts for 70% of overall revenue. Brand insights will obviously be better with market research agencies, and data vendors can offer only consumer insights but not competitive intelligence or business strategy and brand mapping. Market research agencies are very much in need if the data requirements are high and the frequency is low. Emergence of alternate practices in engagement by partnering with data brokerage firms and analytical companies are getting increase in preferences among buyers. Instead of having consolidated contracts, there is a possibility for engaging with data brokerage firms for data purchases and analytical firms to cleanse and do data crunching to yield results. The partnership with data brokerage firms does offer some deep insights compared to market research agencies, especially as it relates to comparative data. Strategic partnership between data brokerage companies and analytical vendors have been viewed as a new era in procurement of market research. This combination could yield most benefits and be as a definite alternative to market research agencies in matured market in near future. Let's map how these opportunities apply to different buyer segments and key services that they focus on. If we consider buyers in consumer goods and financial sector, there is a lot of spend that goes to services like market measurement and segment data and consumer insights. A significant share of market measurement and consumer data can be sourced from data brokerage firms, and there is a considerable opportunity to going for standalone analytics provider for consolidated analytics for data across these three services. Successful unbundling of data and analytics could potentially yield savings in range of 7 to 10% for consumer goods and financial service companies. On the other hand, pharmaceutical companies, there are limits to which dependency on legacy data providers can be avoided, especially for prescription drugs. But keeping analytical engagement separated from data provider is still an attractive option that could offer savings of up to 6% for them. Finally, let us see the next step to execution. Assuming the market research requirement you have could fit into retail point or pharmacy sales and transaction data or consumer segment data, or if your requirements are consumer attitude and behavioral data, and the frequency of data are as high and focus country is in the matured market. This alternate engagement of having data brokerage firms and analytical companies on your supply list would be more beneficial. If you are in the middle of a contract with a market research firm, you can use this opportunity as a negotiation enabler while having periodical reviews and try bringing the cost down, especially by getting more transparency of respondent panel cost and premium cost applied on top of it. Else, if you are in the end of a contract or looking forward to initiating the sourcing process for the new request, try engaging with combination of data brokerage and analytical companies for market conditions specified earlier. The ability of big data vendors to provide customized insights on various target groups is the reason for a phenomenal growth of these supply segments over traditional market research agencies. While big data would not be able to answer all marketers' questions, it serves as an addition to the marketer's decision-making ability and is possibly regarded as substitute to a traditional market research method. With this, I would like to conclude the presentation.
Thank you, Veerappan, for sharing your informative thoughts on market research supply dynamics and providing us with a holistic view of alternate service segments and cost-saving opportunities that could be leveraged in future engagements. With that, I will now take up the high-frequency questions received during today's webinar. So, question number 1. Recently, the US government has come down hard on research companies with respect to data privacy issues. This being the case, would my supply base for data and insights be endangered if I engage with data brokerage companies when there is a likelihood of these companies being clamped down by regulatory authorities?
They didn't. That was generic rules which are applicable across research segments, including data brokerage firms and various market research companies. But there was a definite conception among data buyers that impact would be more on data brokerage firms. However, data brokerage firms ensured they would not fall in as a victim, as they've been using unique code for every personal data they handle, especially when it comes to prescription data or patient data. And hence the data privacy would not stand against them, as no buyers can identify the person or a target segment. Rather, they could use for a market study and strategies based on real-time market data. Moreover, data brokerage firms have been majorly shifting from their approach of collecting data with or without the knowledge of consumers to very transparent way. They often collect data from direct consumers after the legal acceptance, both on and offline, and have made a huge step forward by creating databases which is accessible by any consumer to know what type of data they hold and how and where it is going to be used. Reduction in utilizing third-party cookies and internet by major data firms such as Axiom, Merkle are seen as a powerful response on compliances to the law enforced on the research firms altogether.
Thank you, Veera. Moving on to question number 2. I believe most of the shift in research type or emergence of new practices are outside of the US and mostly outside of developed countries. It would be interesting to see where the shift is happening now and where would it hit most in the future.
The reason behind the shift in analytics are mainly the open market or fragmented supply base in emerging market. Firstly, yes, I agree to your thought that the shift is being more evident in emerging markets. However, it is applicable only for analytics, but for data-related services. I believe US, UK, Australia, Japan, France, Germany, China are gaining or undergoing a lot of changes owing to the huge availability of consumer data in many data links, which in turn gives opportunities for smaller research companies and so many cutting-edge boutique analytical shops out there that may eventually be acquired by a larger shop. These boutique companies are doing traditional research in a differentiated way in emerging market. Secondly, this has been further fueled by increase in analytics of analytical companies in emerging market. Conducting market research in emerging market is getting difficult by inflation rates, unstable regulations, and more importantly, cost and market differences. This has led companies to get it done with the pure play analytical companies. With my understanding, I anticipate this shift will soon enter the matured market. Currently, the shift, yes, it is majorly seen in the emerging market, but it will definitely move to the matured market and have a great impact, since the presence of data brokerage firms and the partnership between data brokerage firms and analytical companies would definitely make it happen.
Thank you, Veera. Moving on to our final question, question number 3. Unbundling analytical service from traditional research agencies also depend on how switching risk associates with that. And if a company purchase a data from data vendor and get it analyzed by another vendor, wouldn't there be any data lost?
No, there isn't much of risk associated with data losses, as this is not the new practices which the company is going to follow. It is there in the market already, especially when companies opt for a new digital analytical techniques such as text analytics or predictive analytics or sentimental analytics, where the company is still buying data and getting analyzed outside. And these analytic services have been provided by analytical companies rather than market research agencies. So they've been getting a data or getting the purchase informations from point of sale data providers and getting it analyzed from the boutique agencies. So hence, when this analysis is possible, I don't see there is a much of risk associated with data losses, and the data integrity would be make sure with the latest latest technologies and analytical methods which has been in place.
Thank you, Veera. With that, we wrap up today's webinar. Thank you everyone for joining us. Have a nice day.